It was on the night of the 50th anniversary of the passing of Abu Baha. So that was 50 odd years ago. And so here I was, a shy, awkward young lad. And I think somewhere in the crowd, I was introduced to Padma.
But at no time did I ever think that Wing was the one for me, because, you know, there were lots of things on my mind. And one day we were getting ready to practice at a choir practice. And I remember Wing and I said something to each other and laughed about it. And this strange thought came to me, a really illogical thought for a very logical person who I was. And I thought to myself, this is the man I think I can marry.
I remember that it was something to do with singing, choir practice, me being sick, stuck in a dorm at some camp, and Padma bringing me chicken soup, which I was very touched by. And I thought, what a nice girl, you know? It would be nice to get to know her better. And my dad somehow managed to find out exactly where I was at the time and called up on the phone. He was quite businesslike about it, and he said, I hear you are going out with an Indian girl. And I said, yes. And he said, I hope it's not very serious, because you know I will never be happy about it, and I will never give you permission to take it any further. So I'm warning you. So remember, I was 17. I had just become a member of the Baha'i community, full of idealistic views about how, you know, humanity is one and we're all the same. I don't know what made me, and I can't credit, you know, my being cool and calm about it, but I think I was inspired to say, it's okay, Dad. Baha'i law says that if I want to marry, you and Mum will have to give permission. And I would never break the Baha'i law and disobey you. And he stopped. He actually stopped, and then he said in dad-like fashion, okay, that's good to know, but I'm warning you, don't take any further. And I said, that's fine. I'm not going to, you know, I realized that it was not time to educate him or fight him on it, because it just wasn't, just felt wrong.
While I was in Singapore and Wing was in New Zealand, my mum, the strategist, decided that she would really get to know Mr. and Mrs. Wong, and she did, and they became really good friends. They began to understand what I suppose the Baha'i Faith stood for. And when it came time for us to ask permission to get married, there was no problem. They were quite happy to do that. They were very comfortable. In our Baha'i community in Mount Roskill was a certain Mr. Hugh Carden. And this venerable gentleman was also the organizer of the International Baha'i Conference that was to be held in Auckland. He said to us, he said, you know, your parents will be here, your friends will be here. Why don't you get married in the Auckland Town Hall where the conference is going to be? It'll be all set up beautifully, and you can get married there. Even till today, we have people saying, oh, you're Padma, you're Wing. I was at your wedding.
Just before we got married at the conference, I received a letter from my parents. And in it, my dad and mum both said that they had decided to join the Baha'i community and accept the faith of Baha'u'llah. And I think Baba remembered me literally going white, because it was such a, I wouldn't call it a shock, but it was such an unexpected thing. For my dad to go from being so prejudiced against, you know, a particular race, for, you know, whatever circumstances before, when he joined the Baha'i community, he was in a little town called Taiping, which is a small community, majority of whom the Baha'i community are made of Indian people. So he went from not being able to accept the concept to embracing heart and soul.
Now I was thinking about how the Baha'i Faith actually shapes marriage. And I think the best way to look at it is to look at what the Baha'i vow is when a couple decide to get married. So it's very, very simple actually. In the presence of two witnesses, a Baha'i couple says to each other, we will all verily abide by the will of God. Now, that's actually a very unusual vow for a couple to take. We are so used to the exchange of vows being between each other, to love and to cherish, etc. And it took some thinking. What did it really mean that we are saying we'll abide by the will of God? And it has struck me through the years that when a couple agrees to abide by the will of God, it's not about ourselves, but it is putting ourselves and our children, the generations yet unborn, into the care and the nurture of a loving Creator. And so it's a different concept. And that means that we're bringing up our children with God and the divine virtues of compassion and love and honesty, generosity, you name it, all these divine virtues. We are putting that in the center of our family.
Similar to what Padma has expressed is that marriage isn't just an individual thing. It's your extended family is very vital, because it's your support group. It's it's connected to you, and I think having that firmly entrenched in the start of a marriage it's a wonderful journey towards unity that lasts.